Hi everyone, welcome back to Cooking with Pamela from Pamela Sharpe Coats. I work at the Osher Center of Integrative Health. Today we're making roasted red pepper hummus. So hummus is something that can be intimidating, but it's also super simple to make. There's a zillion different ways you can make it. I'll talk about some of the substitutions. I'm just going to keep it like pretty simple, short and sweet today. All right, so chickpeas, legume. They're huge in fiber. They help feed your gut. They're amazing. They have so many nutritional benefits. For time purposes, I always recommend utilizing dried chickpeas or something that can be intimidating, but you can see the link below on how to cook any kind of dried beans and recipes. So if you happen to use in the can, I literally just stopped at Kroger's, got some organic chickpeas. Make sure you rinse and drain them properly, and if you can, try to get the ones with no salt. If you happen to get the ones with salt, just make sure you rinse them very well. However, when I say drain, what I didn't show is, so you can either use, so the water left over from when you're cooking your chickpeas, it's a little bit different, but the liquid from a can of chickpeas is actually called aquafaba. So in the baking world, aquafaba is this amazing substance that a lot of vegan chefs use. You can actually take the liquid, measure it out, and whip it up, and it actually whips up like egg white. I use it in baking all the time. So we have our chickpeas. I have our seasoning blend here. Keep in mind, don't be intimidating by any of the seasonings that we're using. Use what you have. Just, feel free to substitute. But I'm just using some black pepper, have our pink Himalayan sea salt here, a little rasa, and this is like a mixture. It's, kind of a smoky, sweet. It has some smoked paprika. I use that season a lot, but you don't have to use a smoked paprika. And you can substitute this for regular paprika. You can substitute it for, if you want a little bit more of a kick, some cayenne, red pepper flakes. I mean, the sky's the limit. Feel free to send me options if you guys have any more. Something else I want to talk about really fast too for our hummus here. Buying store-bought hummus, you can kind of get into it, can have more oil or more salt than you want. I'm only using a very limited amount of salt. Tahini. So tahini is just ground sesame seeds. It's actually a healthy fat, so I still went pretty light with it, but it can actually have that mouthfeel. It's optional. You do not have to use tahini when cooking it. I like it. It's kind of my fave, and I'm going to continue to take the stairs all day today, so a little bit of tahini is good, and it's great monounsaturated fat. So all right, another thing I want to just give a shout out to is our roasted red peppers. Now for our purposes, I just use the skins are removed. It's roasted red peppers. Now you can roast them in the oven, remove the skins, but I just bought the jar. Garlic. So in this recipe, I actually did a roasted garlic. So I took my bowl of garlic and I put it in a little, on a baking tray, and I literally threw it in the oven. There's no oil or anything, and I roasted and removed the skin. So this will just kind of give it more of a, it takes the bite out of the garlic, and you just get that flavor that's, more creamy, more sweet, and delicious. So, all right. Our lemon, washed our lemon. Before we get started cutting, this is a super quick video, making sure that you're using your cutting board. I have a nice wet paper towel down below, making sure it's not moving or going anywhere. Okay, and our food processor. Note that you can also use a blender as well. So, knife. So just taking our knife here and just slicing our lemon. I have the claw finger here. So I'm kind of, just for our demonstration purposes, there's so many different ways you can squeeze lemons. I kind of this is like my fun little device that lets me, as long as you have something to remove the seeds, and then you can kind of measure it too. That's something that's kind of fun. So for our recipe, I love lemon, guys. Lemon has a lot of great, benefits. It kind of goes along with some of the seasonings, with the, smoky, tangy deliciousness. So I'm using half a lemon. I have my little bowl here too that I'm putting aside my scraps because I can use this for zesting and for a few more videos. So I have our lemon, so half a lemon equals a little bit over about 2 tablespoons here. All right, so our food processor, I have my drained chickpeas, just gonna add them. So if you're using the fresh chickpeas, you just want to use maybe about 2 cups. If you're using the can, this is about, a can and a half. So about can's about 15 ounces. So, but you can still measure it out. About a cup and a half. All right. Take off my little cup here. This is the easy part. You literally just throw everything in the mixer. So my lemon juice, get a little stir. Have my roasted garlic. Just gonna throw that in there. That looks amazing. Smells so good too. Now for garlic, keep in mind all these are like seasoned to taste. So I may use a little less garlic. Some days I use a little bit more. But I have anywhere from like two cloves here, but I wouldn't go more than like 3 or 4. I just, love garlic. This is my tahini. I'm just kind of adding all that in there. Good mono unsaturated fat with the hummus, keep it nice and full. Our little seasoning blend here. Just give that a little stir. And keep in mind, you just want to season to taste. So I made this recipe a couple times. I kind of know which one I like. Now, your red peppers, you don't have to use the roasted red peppers. In fact, you can use regular peppers and just add them in there if you're not a fan of the smoky flavor. I kind of like the smoky flavor, so that's what we're going to use today. All right. I'm just going to attach this, and then we just give it a little pulse. Something else that I mentioned too, depending on the texture and the consistency that you like, I have our liquid or aquafaba too. We can always add that in a little bit if we want to kind of thin it out so it's not as thick. Generally, I use anywhere from like 1/4 of a cup or 2 tablespoons to 1/4 of a cup. It's easier to add in. It's not so easy to take out. I use this for sandwich spreads. I use it as a dip for my veggies. It's important to kind of taste as you go along too. I'm just going to puree it for a few more seconds, give it a few more little pulses, and then comes the fun part, tasting. Okay guys, this looks delicious. I have my veggies here that I can kind of pour in there, so I'm just going to unhook. We're going to be safe. We're going to unplug. You guys may have noticed I'm wearing gloves. Any kind of like ready to eat food, it's always super important to kind of wear gloves along with it. So this looks delicious. So this will store in an airtight container. You could, for up in the refrigerator for up to 4 or 5 days. It's not going to last in my household over 3, so it's never really been an issue. All right. Just for our time purposes. And like I said, season this to taste. You can make it as thick or as thin as you want. I'm going to use mine as more of a spread, and I kind of like a little bit thicker because I'm making a little mess here, guys. We want no hummus go to waste. So just put this over here. All right. I'm just gonna taste it and see how it's looking. My trash container over here. It's sweet, it's smoky, and delicious. Thanks for watching, guys.